All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, today I'm going to do a little follow-up video. The last video we did, we talked about dropping 8 in coverage, and we talked about how good of an idea I thought it was and why we like to do it. And today what I'm going to talk to you about is the difference between dropping 8 in coverage and then the things that you have to do in 7-on-7 and how that can kind of affect sometimes what you're teaching your kids. And if you want to make some of the same calls when you get to 7-on-7, how different that is. Make sure you check out some of our partners, Dome Hats, headwear company we use. You see me wearing them all the time. Baker Sporting Goods, you see me wearing their shirts all the time. We get our Spirit Packs from them. We get our Adidas uniforms from them. So make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. Just Play Football is a play drawing diagram tool I use when I am speaking at clinics or doing webinars. Any type of Zoom work for Patreon or anything I do, I always use Just Play. Don't always use it as my playbook software. Not because I use other software, but because I don't put together a playbook for my players. So it's just one of those deals where I like it for drawings. It's the best play drawing tool on the market. If I were to put together a playbook for my players, it is 100% the software I would use. But I don't put a playbook together for my players because I have no idea where that playbook might end up. They screenshot it, they put it on social media, they transfer. That's a story for another day. GameStrat, sideline replay system we use. We absolutely love it. Wouldn't trade, wouldn't go back. If you're looking for a highly reliable, highly affordable sideline replay system, check out GameStrat. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. Work on getting thumbs up, elbows in, strike, hips coiled, all the things you need to do to become a very good striker, which everybody on the field is going to learn how to do at some point or another, unless you're maybe a kicker or a quarterback. Everybody is going to be in a position to strike, take blocks on, block people. So DifferenceUSA is a great tool in and out of season to do that. HighandTight ball security training aid we use. You get an immediate auditory feedback. It beeps when you have the ball in the right position. If you do not have the ball in the proper position, you will not hear the beep. So you have to have it proper position. HighandTight, wrist above elbow, and points of pressure. Excellent training aid. Check it out. StandPerfect. A training aid we use to build consistent, reliable stances. When we get young kids and they have no idea, right foot, left foot, heel toe stagger, 4 inches, 6 inches. It's a lot easier when you put the StandPerfects on the ground. You put them right on the ground where you want them, and then you tell the kid, hey, your left foot goes here, your right foot goes here. All right, bend at the knees, bend at the waist, left hand goes on the ground. Or if you're a receiver, hey, your left foot goes back here, your right foot goes up here. Sink a little bit. Now the kids you can get thousands of reps without having to talk about, hey, move this back foot. I can remember when I was a young kid playing, coaches would literally grab my foot and say, move it here, move it back, move this foot over, heel toe instep, 6 inches. All right, so you can eliminate all those buzzwords. StandPerfect is a great tool to teach consistent, reliable stances. Baseball, softball, you probably use it in just about any sport. Golf, I know you could use it. Football, we use it. So make sure you check out StandPerfect, www.standperfect.com. All right, so we talked a little bit about the other day about dropping 8, right? And we like to, in some of our odd packages, we like to drop 8. One of the things we like to do is we like to drop 8 and we like to play 3 deep. We change up how we played it. We talked the other day about double buzz, 3 deep, and double cloud, kind of Tampa 2 version, right? So when we do that, if we were to get a 3x1 set, when we do that, we have a flat player to get under 1. All right, so he's working to get under 1, or if 2 comes out. We have a curl player that can be under 2. If 2 goes out, look for 1. But we also have a hook player that can be under 3. If 3 goes out, look for 2. We have a will on the backside who's a 4-2 dropper. In other words, if they go 4 strong, we can push the will to match 4 strong. If they push 2 weak, we can use the will to get 3-on-2, all right, with our flat player on this side, our third player there, right? So when we're dropping 8, we can handle that scenario very, very easily. Not saying that we cover everything, all right? And notice, in this scenario, I am talking about more of a spot drop deal. Here's why. We are a pattern match team. Our base defense is middle of the field open, quarters toolbox, pattern match, all right? I think as a pattern match team, you have to carry some spot drops because a lot of teams are going to base their passing game progressions off of your pattern matches, and they're going to draw up pattern match beaters. Now, can you spot drop every down? I'm not so sure. At the high school level, I think you probably could, and you probably could win a lot of games. At the college level, definitely not. NFL level, definitely not. At the high school level, I think you can spot drop, okay? I think you can get away with it, and here's the biggest thing. I wouldn't worry about it in 7-on-7. If you went to 7-on-7s and you just spot drop, there'd be guys running open all over the place. The quarterback has all day to throw. If you get into a game and you mix spot drops up with man coverages, You mix them up with some 5-man zone pressures. You mix them up with some man-free stuff. You mix them up with maybe some man coverage that have cut players. You mix spot drop in and out of all that. I don't think you would necessarily have to be a pattern match team. I think you can win. We choose to be a pattern match team. Same argument everybody else is going to make. We want to get snug, tighter to patterns. We don't want guys running all over the place. But I guarantee you, if you could make it through the summer and 7-on-7 and get to games where quarterbacks have to make decisions, where quarterbacks have guys in their face, there's pressure, there's hands up, there's people blitzing, spot drops, even though you may give up, and everybody's on paper, everybody says there's going to be more room. Guys are going to have more room to catch the ball. I want to cover players, not grass. I'm a pattern match guy. I agree with all of it. But I think spot drop gets a little bit of a bad rap because in 7-on-7 in the summer, there's always guys running wide open all over the place when they can release 5 into the route, drop the quarterback, and have 4 seconds to throw the ball. Okay? We carry spot drop stuff simply because we also pattern match. So I want to have pure spot drop, all right? Get to a spot, relate to routes. 1 is out, 2's in, 2's in, 3's out. We still talk to our guys about those types of things, but we're kind of trying to drop to certain areas. We're flooding zones, and then we're kind of playing off of the QB. Why do we do that? Because we're a pattern match based team, and I think it's a good changeup. So the 3x1 stuff, we're good. Well, if I were to remove the mic from this picture right now, okay? If I were to remove the mic from that picture, and the tailback lined up weak, and I didn't push the will to the strong side, we will get absolutely annihilated to the trip side because we will be 1 player short. So what that means now is if I want to carry my 3 deep coverage into 7-on-7 stuff, I have to teach a different version of it to where I use the will to flood. All right, so now I would have to use the will to flood this side, and on the back side I may have to lock, all right, a near man technique or something on a single and lock the safety on the back to the backside because I certainly can't play spot drop 3 deep to the backside. I don't have any other defenders over there. All right, so if I were to try and play that same coverage in 7-on-7, okay, I would have to teach it a completely different way. I would have to involve the will in the drop. He would have to push that way. I'd have to change how we play the backside. So what happens sometimes is when we go from our drop 8 stuff, okay, when we go from our drop 8 stuff into 7-on-7s, so let's just say for argument's sake, if I drop our double clouded stuff, we have to teach it completely different than we normally do. And sometimes it's almost not worth playing it. If I have to teach it different, so if I have to teach our 3 deep stuff different from our drop 8 to a 7-on-7, it's almost not worth, it's not worth running it into 7-on-7 because by the time I have to change how I teach it, we're probably not going to run it very well. We'll probably get ripped. And then when we go back to running it during the season, if I drop 8, it changes again. So it really almost doesn't carry the worth of having it in a 7-on-7 if you teach it, or the only way you teach it as an 8-man drop. So for us, our 3 deep stuff and our Tampa 2 stuff is only ever taught from dropping 8. So for me to try and play 3 deep or Tampa in a 7-on-7 kind of hurts me a little bit because it's not how we do things. All right, so if we were to play our double cloud stuff, even the 3x1, all right, so we cloud this side here, we got a deep safety there. We cloud this side, we got a deep safety there. He runs the deep middle. He's the hook player under, or the curl player under 2. He's pushing under 3. He's weak side hook here. We're good to go. We've got 5 under, 3 deep. We just changed it from double buzz to double cloud, right? If we wanted to now, if I take the mic out of the equation, now we've almost got to go to some type of true Tampa deal, okay, where we can put the middle safety possibly on 3 vertical, so that if 3's vertical, we got him taken care of. All right, but now we still have to understand that this hook curl player that's here, he probably has to do a better job of not letting 2 cross his face, because if my middle hole dropper gets 3 vertical and 2 runs like Finn or something like that, and he thinks that he can pass it off to somebody because he's used to having the mic in there when we drop 8, well now in 7-on-7, he'll go vertical, all right, he'll rip us right down the middle of the field, and then we'll get beat by a Finn or something coming out, levels, all right, or we've got to take the middle safety, drop him down to be kind of a shorter wall player here, and play true deep halves with our safeties, all right? And if we wanted to play that coverage in a 7-on-7 scenario, all right? So if we wanted to play a true cover deep style in a 7-on-7 scenario, now when you get 3-by-1, it's not the greatest issue. You could always check out and do something else. You could leave this on the front side, all right? You could obviously leave this on the front side, poach the backside safety here, all right? So now spin him down. He's got 3 vert, and now you're locked with the will, and you're locked on the backside, well, all right, with the tailback in the back. But the deal in 7-on-7, so we could play Tampa. I could drop the middle of the field safety down, tell him that he's now, all right, the short wall player of 3, okay? Keep Tampa on one side and roll the backside so it becomes a 3-by-1 adjustment, right? We can certainly do that. We've done it before, okay? Not great in a 7-on-7 because you very rarely want to lock anybody by themselves with no help in a 7-on-7 because the quarterback has 4 seconds to throw. A lot of times they'll line the tailback over here and just go ahead and line them up in empty because it's 7-on-7. So you usually want to avoid that. Most of the time in 7-on-7, the teams that are really good are the teams that advance in tournaments. What do you see them play all the time? Man under 2 deep. Why? You don't have to defend the run. If teams come out and empty the whole box and leave 2 safeties high. All right? You'd never be able to do that in most normal football situations unless it was 3rd and 20, if it was 3rd and 5 and a team came out and empty and you played man under 2 deep and they had quarterback runs 5-on-4 in the box and your 2 deep guys were 15 yards down the field, you better be real good with your 4 in the box, all right? Because those teams will just go empty quarterback run and they'll do it at will. Especially, you know, because if you're playing man and I go 5 verticals and your 5 guys cover it man and your 2 deep safeties are 15 yards deep, that's 7 players running down the field covering verticals. And I've got 5-on-4 in the box. Well, in 7-on-7, there's no run game. So if it's empty, you can empty it out. You can play DBs in the box at linebacker. You can do so. 7-on-7 is a different animal. You almost have to have a playbook for 7-on-7 offense and defense. Well, if you're trying to run your base stuff to get better in a 7-on-7 because you want your kids to execute, the issue we have is we would have to adjust our standard 3 deep and our standard Tampa because we lose the mic. Okay, so for us in our standard Tampa deal, we'd be good everywhere we want it to be because we'd have a half player. Our middle safety would become a deep 3rd player. He would become kind of a short wall of 3 player. And it's 5 under 3 deep. Why? Because we are dropping 8, right? We're dropping 8. That's what we do in our base defense. We are pattern match, use the mic as an extra rusher or use the mic as a spy. Drop 7, and then we graduate to dropping 8. So if I want to be a drop 8 team, and I want to teach my kids how to be a drop 8 team, sometimes when I go to 7-on-7 and I lose the mic, I then have to adjust. If I played this deal right now, and I played just 3 deep with trap corner, they would beat me to the trip side all day long because I only have 1 underneath defender here, all right? So I have somebody in the flat, but in this hook to curl, this is all I have because the will, I would have to, again, I would have to push the will back to this side, like this, and probably lock the safety in the corner if it was empty. Push the will here because it's the same thing as the 3 deep I just talked about. I have to equate the numbers to the strong side somehow. Okay, so either I have to possibly spin the safety down, so spin the safety down, poach with the right safety, lock the corner in the will, put the will 4 strong so that I can leave the dollar there, put the middle of the safety, all right, put the middle of the field safety if I were to push the will, okay, that way. Now the middle of the field safety can play 3 vertical, but now I've got to lock the backside. So now I can play the half of 1 and 2, lean to 3, push the will that way, but I'd have to lock the backside if I saw empty. Okay? Not the case in my drop 8 scenario. In my drop 8 scenario, when the mic is there, I am good everywhere I want to be. Outside 3rd, middle 3rd, outside 3rd, wall to 2, wall to 2, handle to 3, 3 goes out, look for the new 2. I'm good because I have 5 underneath zone players. And I'm gaining the honey hole player, so I can defend the outside halves a little bit easier. So we talked about this the other day. 2 deep, you know that the weaknesses are going to be the ball getting thrown out there, the ball getting thrown in there, ball getting thrown out there, right? I got 5 underneath defenders when I'm playing 2 deep. I should be pretty good underneath. It's those 3 honey holes that I got to avoid. Well, as soon as I drop 8, my middle safety can help me, which means he can lean a little bit more to his honey hole. He can lean a little bit more to his honey hole because the middle safety can help me X out that one because I'm dropping 8. I'm 5 under 3 deep, right? So again, eliminating, when you go to 7-on-7, you have to understand the differences and the nuances. So a lot of times for us, when we go to 7-on-7s, I won't call my 3 deep or my Tampa coverages that are drop 8 for me in my base defense. Why won't I call them? Because if I call them, I have to make an adjustment. Because I'm somebody short, if I want to play them the same way, I have to adjust the underneath coverage. I have to flood it or push it one way. I might have to lock the backside of 3x1. I don't want to spend all that time and effort doing that just to have a little bit more success in a 7-on-7 so that when I go back to my base stuff, I've got to reteach something new. So what do I normally do? 7-on-7, I don't call those 2. So we play our pattern match stuff and then we play our man cut defenses. So we have 2 different man cut defenses or 3 different man cut defenses if you want to look at it. We have some man with double cut players underneath. We have some man with low hole, high hole stuff. And then we have our pattern match. So I'll go into 7-on-7s and I'll only play those 3 deals. I'll play our pattern match, I'll play our man cut deals. Our man cut 2 under, our man cut 1 high, 1 low, and then maybe if we have it in red zone or goal line, we'll play some type of goal line quarters or some type of goal line zone coverage. But it's not worth it for me to carry 3 deep in Tampa if they're drop 8 philosophies into a 7-on-7 because I have to reteach how we do it. So today's video, because we just came off of a 7-on-7, today's video will help you avoid that frustration to understand, hey coach, listen, if we're going to be odd and we're going to drop 8, and this is how we handle it, make sure you know the difference between what you need to do when you go 7-on-7 so that you know where the shortcomings are if you're calling certain coverages that involve 8 guys dropping. If every coverage you have is a drop 8, you may not want to go play 7-on-7, or you may just want to play man-to-man or man under 2 deep. Because if all your coverages are drop 8, as soon as you get to 7-on-7 and you eliminate a guy from the coverage, it's going to affect how you play empties or 3x1s or tailback pushes. It's going to change everything you do because you end up 1 guy short. All right, so if you are a drop 8 team or if you do carry drop 8 coverages, just understand when you go to 7-on-7, it's probably easier to not run your drop 8 coverages, all right, and just run your 7-man coverages than it is to reteach how you play your drop 8 stuff. So I will never reteach how we play our drop 8 stuff, all right, just for a 7-on-7, just so we can go back and teach the drop 8 stuff again. So what do? I only run the things that we can run. I run our 7-man pattern match and then I run our man cut defenses. And we are not a very good 7-on-7 team. In the history of my career, we haven't been a great 7-on-7 team. I haven't entered a ton of 7-on-7 tournaments. I usually only throw 7-on-7s with teams that I know, and I usually only throw 2 or 3 of them in the off-season, in the summer. And the reason being is a lot of our base philosophies on offense and defense don't match up to 7-on-7. If you want to be a very successful 7-on-7 team, you actually need a composite of offensive things, which would probably include bunches, stacks, motions, and a bunch of mesh-style picks, rubs, jerk routes. Get your best guy man-to-man, send everybody else vertical and run jerk routes, because you're going to see a bunch of man under 2 deep, so you need composites to attack them. Okay? On defense, you probably need to be more of a man-cut team, all right? A man under 2 deep team, a man team that can cut low hole, high hole, a man team that can maybe double the slots or double the outside guys. You want to carry 7-on-7 versions of coverage that are going to help you, because your regular pattern match stuff may not be the greatest in the world, because they're going to go empty, they're going to go tailback out, they're going to release 5 most of the time, okay? And the quarterback's got 4 seconds to figure out what to do with the football with no one in his face. So we like participating in 7-on-7s. We had a good time. The Jaguars held one. We had a good time the other day. We're usually not that successful in it, but we have to get the mindset across to our players. Yes, we want to compete. Yes, we want to play hard, but we're going to run our stuff. We're very rarely going to get out and run something that is a good 7-on-7 play if we don't feel like it fits us. All right, and I honestly think that there are some teams that are used to traveling, playing in 7-on-7s, that understand things that are really good in the 7-on-7 world, and they understand coverages that are really good in the 7-on-7 world. And if you're going to be somebody that does that, then by all means, I would certainly do the same thing. All right, what we choose to do, or I choose to do, is I choose to play in less 7-on-7s. And when I play in 7-on-7s, I like them to be controlled settings where I can use my base coverages and my base installation on offense. So a lot of our base passing concepts, they don't always match up the greatest of man under 2 deep. Yes, we have to have things to beat it because you're going to see it. You will see man under 2 deep a little bit during the season, but I don't think you'll see it as many downs as you see it in 7-on-7. So yes, you've got to be able to run meshes. Yes, you've got to be able to set up picks. Yes, you've got to get rubs. Yes, you should have bunches, condensed formations, and motions. Okay, but to me, I want to convey our base stuff to our kids as much as possible because it's a chance to get the verbiage, the terminology. I want to be able to go into the huddle and say, hey, you know, we're going Trey Wright, we're going Denver, and we're going Roger, you know, Trey Wright, Denver, Roger, lock, Denver, Roger, rip. Whatever we're calling, I want to be able to call that in a 7-on-7 huddle and let it rip. I don't want to just show diagrams, and I don't want to call things that we're not going to call in the game. Okay, so it's the same thing on defense. All right, so today's video was me explaining to you, if you do drop 8, like we talked about the other day, I love it. I think it's great. I think you need to do it in high school. If you go from dropping 8 to playing in 7-on-7s, just understand where the shortcomings are so that you and your kids know going in, hey guys, I always give my guys a precursor and say, hey guys, look, we go to 7-on-7, our 3 deep and our Tampa stuff is a drop 8 premise. All right? When we don't have the mic and we can't drop 8, these defenses aren't good for us, we're probably not going to run them. If we do run them, here's how we have to match it. All right? So I always kind of preface my players with that first so they understand that because they need to know that those coverages aren't very good for us when they're not drop 8 because of how I teach them. Again, if you were a Rip Liz match team and you were a 3 deep team, you would have ways of handling 3x1 and you'd already be good with it. Because I'm not a single high safety team, when we go to 3 deep stuff and it's drop 8, 5 under 3 deep, we don't play it as pattern match. We don't have a way to flood the trips out. So when we drop 8, it gives us the automatic ability to flood the trips so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so again, hopefully this video helps you understanding the difference between dropping 8, which we just talked about last week, and then how different that's going to be in 7-on-7. Hopefully you understand when you go to 7-on-7s, only carry your coverages that you feel comfortable with 7 players on the field. All right, as always, I appreciate what you guys do for Play Fast Football. If you are not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on so you know every time I do a video or I go on YouTube Live. All right, thumbs up, thumbs down if you like this or don't like this, if it helps you or doesn't help you. Either way, all opinions are welcome on a social media platform. So if it's a thumbs down, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. Always leave a comment. If it's a comment about football, I will try to get back to you. If it's a comment about a video you'd like to see me do, if I feel like I can do the video justice, I will always try to do that. All right, guys, so about 2 weeks out for us in Florida. Hopefully the summer's going good for you guys. Stay healthy, stay safe. Get everybody back on that playing field. Get all your coaches ready to go. And when August comes around, hopefully we're back into some type of normalcy with a regular football season. Good luck to you guys. Thanks for everything you do for me and Play Fast. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast, and I'll catch you next time.